Chapter 6381. Then, AI said, based on the new influencing factor ranking, the target company should be the least likely to conceal production capacity and evade taxes among the 7 companies. However, if it is based on this logic, then they have increased the power consumption of thousands of people. And the unit power consumption on paper will inevitably increase. In this way, KS Petroleum has become the most suspicious company. KS Petroleum is the most suspicious because of its high unit power consumption. And it is very likely that it is a misjudgment caused by concealing production. This is an unsolvable, mutually reinforcing, and contradictory dead loop. Duncan said, if it only looks like a dead loop, but not a real dead loop, then there must be a key point to break the dead loop that has not been captured. If it is indeed a dead loop, it often means that we have found the right one. So the problem now is that you have to find a way to try to break your previous judgment. It's like you built a house. In order to ensure that its roof does not leak, you must first waterproof it to the extreme of your ability, and then try every means to pour water in from the roof. If it can't be poured in, it proves that your approach is correct. If it can be poured in, it proves that your approach is wrong. After a few seconds, AI replied, I think that if KS Oil really has a problem, it will definitely not leave a bug that can be easily discovered by others in terms of unit power consumption. This is like what you said just now. When making a big mistake, try to avoid making other small mistakes as much as possible. So KS was so easily found to have problems by me. It is very likely that it did not make other big mistakes. However, since the target does need to supply electricity to thousands of people, I now have a guess that the other party should have other ways to obtain electricity. After that, it continued. All Skyline data related to Nigeria has been uploaded to the server. I need to combine Skyline's data to identify the target in more detail. It currently takes about 90 seconds to enhance the image quality of all images in Skyline data to improve the resolution of satellite images. Please wait. More than a minute later, AI continued. Image quality enhancement has been completed. I have selected the best quality data this year for analysis. The identifiable high-voltage power supply networks around the 7 oil fields all belong to Nigeria Power Holdings Company, Limited. The power consumption data I just obtained also came from this company. So it can be basically confirmed that there is no second power supply line for the 7 oil fields. Duncan asked back, based on your judgment on satellite images, have you considered the possibility of high-voltage lines going underground? AI replied, I have checked the satellite images of the area in the past 15 years from Skyline. The undergrounding of high-voltage lines is a large project and takes a long time. But in the satellite images of the past 15 years, no construction traces that may be related to the undergrounding of high-voltage lines have been found. Duncan was obviously a little surprised, because he found that AI had begun to verify its own conclusions before giving a conclusion, which was much more mature than giving a direct answer just now. If you want to train an employee to make such a transformation, it may take several years. If you encounter someone with a bad brain, he may not be able to make it in your lifetime. But for AI, it's just a few conversations. This is the importance of training AI. Letting a top detective train AI will inevitably make AI have very rigorous logic. Duncan was obviously very relieved. He said with a somewhat excited tone, you determined that the target's additional power consumption was not supplemented by the Nigerian Electricity Holding Company. And you also determined that the target should have no other external power supply channels. Based on this, have you come to any new conclusions? The AI model replied, I think the target should have supplemented this part of the power gap by itself. Duncan looked at Charlie and asked him, Mr. Wade, the Dead Men's Base supplies an additional supply of electricity to thousands of people. This gap should be very large, right?